And we're back with the part two. Thank you guys for coming back.
Dee-Va. He was at Obama, got him to the barbecue. He came to the barbecue. He was at the cookout. He saw some things and heard some things that he thought he could go back and say on the platform at the Breakfast Club. Like, first of all, you on the Breakfast Club.
He tried to dethrone Clinton with that Breakfast Club moment. I'm telling you, you guys, Uncle Joe was tired of you guys saying that Clinton's black. He wanted this. So when he went, I think he even rolled his head when he got to you ain't black.
He did. He did. And all I could hear, and I said this on my show last night, all I could hear was the entire country, especially Black America, saying, "Oh, Joe. Oh, Joe.
Go back inside. Get Uncle Joe down and watch the
Please, sit him down." So it's unfortunate. And though it wasn't just, it definitely rubbed some people the wrong way. And rightfully so. When we're living in the age that we're living in with the racial tension that we continue to have in our country that's being more and more exposed.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with what you say.
It's not okay to borrow our culture, you guys, and it needs to stop. It's offensive, especially if that's not you. Like, I think later today, or I might have missed it, it may have been last night, but Uncle Joe was coming on an evening show on the network to talk. And so I told my sugar honey Icy, I told him, I said, honey, I'm going to watch and see, does he do that whole rolling thing on this interview, because this is a different environment.
Because I understand having to be a chameleon within your environments, right? You have to adjust to your audience. I get that. Yeah. However, when it's inauthentic, first off, right? That you have to be mindful of that, right? You have to be mindful of that. If it comes across as disingenuous, then
if you did it for a campaign stunt, I don't appreciate. Don't use us for campaign stunts. Like in my serious voice, Joe Biden, don't use us for campaign stunts. Please stop doing that.
Well,
Please stop doing that. That's not fun.
Mz Dee-Va, I caution you on your level of expectation there, and here's why. Politicians have been doing that for.
Bernie, if you can come in, if they fire him, Bernie, get back in there. Okay, go ahead.
Right. But politicians have been doing that for years. Make no mistake, Trump does it too, right? He had that group of black people, the group of black people that were there. He's met with black pastors. All of that is pandering for our approval and our vote. At the end of the day, all of them do it.
Dallas, shout out to Dallas. He said Uncle Joe slept the whole Obama term. He was in there asleep on the game, sitting on the couch watching. He was asleep. That's so funny.
He was. That's so funny. He 100% was. Well done, Dallas. He definitely was. I agree.
Yeah, he had that romance. I really think, because he's a widower, I love you just for this, Uncle Joe. Sometimes as a widow, I'm so out of place and out of pocket. Like, I do some of the craziest things. So I do identify with him and being a widower and then losing his son. That grief will make you just cut up. I swear, grief will make you, widows will speak out. They'll say, yeah, Dee-Va, or some will say, no, Dee-Va, never made me do that. Grief will make you get on the pole and swing around for cash. Like, grief is so insane.
Duly noted.
Was like, my widow friends are going, no, I never wanted to get on the pole.
Right.
But like,
all right.
It will literally take you through some crazy moments. So I think that he really has never come from that loss. And then when he lost his son, so I just really feel like he's really going through, and he's never had the time to rest. And I want him to go rest. He doesn't need to be a president right now. He needs to go take care of himself.
It's going, and I'm not really into politics to be able to commentate on politics, but I will say this: it's going to be very important. His choice for vice president, his running mate, is going to be very important. Because it's that person that's probably going to have to keep him in a bit of a check and in line, right? As I talked about on my show last night.
He's got his Stormy Daniels moment coming, Rick. His Stormy Daniels, I've seen her. I've seen the receipts. The receipts were brought up in her court, in her divorce, 1996 divorce court, talked about her when Joe was her boss. And it played a big part in her marriage ending. So his Stormy Daniels, she got some stuff with some receipts that's going to hurt Joe in October. Trump, let me let you know, it's the October surprise. I took it away from Trump. I just snatched it. It's the October surprise. It's what he's going to use on him. It's what he's going to use against him.
I'm sure.
He's going to break it up in July. Watch.
But you know what I find very funny, Mz Dee-Va, is this. We look at the scandals that have come out for both Donald Trump and in this current situation with Joe Biden, and scandals before. The one black president had no scandals, no accusations of infidelity.
Zero people. Zero.
Nothing. Had no scandal occurred during his presidency. Nothing you could find prior to. Trump even tried with his birth certificate, right? And now he's trying again with Obamagate. Anyway, this goes to show the level of standard that we have that's different between black and white. Obama, here he is as the first black president, being the black man that he is, having to be 10 times better than his white counterparts to even be considered any type of equal. But yet we're allowing for a man who is accused of being...
we might as well just plug the book. We might as well.
Did you see the special, the documentary?
Netflix people, oh my God, Becoming. If you're in another country and you have not read Becoming, please go get a copy.
Get it.
Watch it on Netflix if Netflix is available.
I missed the America that was under them. I missed the representation that we saw from them. Right? That was a representation, despite what you may think about him as a person, them as a family, him as a president. What I love and miss about the fact that with them in office...
Fox, we have to say this, Rick. I'm going to interrupt for just one moment.
Fox,
and that's why they call me the next Oprah, but they say they like me a little better. I interrupt a lot. I'm sorry for that. I should have pre-apologized to that 2 shows ago.
Okay, I'm okay with it.
Fox said because he had a black wife.
Well, listen.
That's exactly
Fox, why. Let's okay. One thing at a time here, because we're not going to. That spawns a whole conversation of how mistreated the black women are in our country. The most disrespected.
We are the most disrespected.
Wasn't that Malcolm X? Wasn't that Malcolm X that had a whole list of the way that black women are treated in America? They are the worst treated in our country. So, Ms. Fox, you're absolutely right. If he would have had a white wife, he might have been a little bit better. But but I see what you're saying.
He could have did like Trump and brought his sister, not his sister in Africa, you guys, sorry. But if he had brought his sister from mommy in there with him, no problem.
Yeah.
Michelle had stayed at home, no problems.
But I think what Fox was saying was Michelle would have made sure she kept her foot in his... And I'm okay with that. You're absolutely right, Fox. Michelle would have killed him.
Okay, so I see what the part is. She's jumping in now. She's saying yes because, and I agree with that, but not just me. I've seen President Obama say that.
Yeah,
It is this woman. It is this woman. She is the reason. He's always made me proud of him as a lover. Because he's always saying that. Like he's always saying, she holds me up. She holds me accountable. She makes me walk straight. So absolutely.
He was a great representation for our country. He was a great representation for what the black family structure should or could look like. Not should, excuse me, but could look like. Where you have two supporting, loving families.
It doesn't get highlighted.
It doesn't get highlighted. It does not get highlighted. But I think also we have to, understand that the family dynamic is changing 100%. There's not just different gender parents anymore. You have same-gender parents raising children and having a nucleus of a family. But at the end of the day, what you saw with them was 100% love for each other. You don't see that now. You don't see these two, this husband and wife being husband and wife and engaging in what husband and wives do, husbands and or couples do. They're so distant.
I just want it to be couples, Rick. Not just for you and Al. I just want that to be couples because America. Can I speak to America?
Go ahead and speak to America.
Not just Black America, like America. You guys are so stuck on things looking one way. That's why you can't adapt to change. If a gay couple brings in a child and takes care of the child and raises the child well and sends them off to college and takes care of them and nurtures them, I have no issue with them because they're parents and they're a couple and they're showing love and they took care of the child and didn't drop them off somewhere. So I think that people don't think that just, if it's a man and a woman, it's right. No. If it's two people that unconditionally love, authentically love, it's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Period.
Yep. Absolutely.
And America's issues with everything that's going on, we can sum it up often with people can't adapt to change.
It's unfortunate. It's 100%
really
unfortunate. But, you know, I hope that this new generation of that's coming up underneath us, they're making some changes in the way that they accept people. They are really setting a new standard for identification as well as acceptance and embracing. There's still some potholes for them. There's still some pockets of, not understanding that or not accepting that. But as a whole, right, this generation has done a phenomenal. I would say the younger millennials down underneath them, which is I think Generation Z, they're being exposed to a lot more, so they're understanding how to accept a lot more of what that change looks like. And shout out to social media for doing it. They've been exposed to a lot.
People that complain about social media, do you know how many times I've traveled for $0? I don't have issues with them. I'm a frugal person. I have no issues.
I'm trying to grow up to be just like you, Mz Dee-Va, one of these days.
Look, you guys, I want you guys to know this one more thing that was brought to my attention a little late for me to gather some notes on that as well. But Sonia, you sent to me what happened in Minneapolis. Thank you for sending that. Rick, what do you know? I have the article clicked open. What do you know about Minneapolis? Why I go back to that article?
Yeah, so we have another viral video here of what looks to be as police brutality and a disregard for human life, specifically a black man. I believe his name was George Floyd. Don't quote me because I didn't get the name yet. I think the name was just released right before we jumped on air.
Okay.
And I don't have it up in front of me. But so there's a video of Minneapolis police officer who has his knee pinned on a guy's neck. And again, I'll have to get the gentleman's name, black guy. Has his knee in his neck. And it almost to me, and I'll be honest with you, Mz Dee-Va, I had to watch this a couple of times because I thought the police officer had his hands in his pockets and just kept his knee there as if, I'm just going to keep it here because I can. But it was actually, he was wearing gloves is what it was. But his stance was still, his hands were there on his thighs. His knee was in this person's neck. And he's you can hear him just very similar to Eric Garner yelling, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe. This hurts, that hurts, I can't breathe," consistently. Like, I think what was so disheartening was I think there's even a point where he's calling for his mother. Like, it sounded to me like he said, "Oh, mama," twice. And what made it even more difficult to watch was the people who were surrounding and videotaping or recording, they were saying, "Hey, he's not moving, get off of him." And then it got to, he's not moving, he's not responding, he's probably didn't look like he was breathing either. I couldn't really tell from the video. And the way they kind of just rolled him off to his side and onto the gurney once the paramedics got there indicated to me from the video that he was pretty lifeless, but the coroner's report apparently says that he died or he passed once he got to the hospital or a few moments later. Not sure what caused his death as of now.
You know what? Even we can look all day, and you can even put on the death certificate COVID-19, and I'm going to tell you that you're lying. The truth ain't in you. He died because a racist officer took his life and murdered him in front of people. Minneapolis, this is the first time that I've ever seen this reaction, but I am going to read this to you guys. Minneapolis police officers, according to officials, 4 officers have been fired.
Yep.
I've never seen that as a reaction that fast.
Yep. 4 officers already fired. Yep.
Former police officers.
Already fired. Well, so I think the initial thing was something around forgery is why they initially approached this gentleman while he was in a car. He was being combative, according to them, or resisting, as they always say. Here's my thing. At the end of the day, when you watch the video, if you ever get a chance to watch the video, there is a point in time where you, as a police officer, have subdued your suspect. And as the people that were around were saying, put him in the car. just put him in the car and this will all be over. He chose not to. The officer chose not to and left his knee forcefully on his neck to the point where he's no longer responsive. Then they didn't even check. There was a first responder there on the scene who happened to be casually walking by and started recording as well. She said, check his pulse. Check to make sure he's still alive. The officer did not do that. Neither of the officers who were there did that. One stood there and told the crowd to stay back, and the other stayed there with his knee in his neck. Mz Dee-Va, it's disheartening to see, but I promise you this. As sure as I have a platform to be able to do it, and I'm thankful for my buddy Ethan Michael and I having the platform of In Black and White to have these conversations, as well as Mz Dee-Va, we have to continue to talk about this. We have to continue to show it.
You're tired
because, yes,
about it. Can you imagine
how tired
we are we? This is a personal attack on us. You guys were personally attacked when John Bonet was killed. You ain't crazy. You thought it happened to your whole culture. This is a personal attack on us. And it's happening all the time. But I will say this. There are some people in our community that are getting so frustrated that you're going with the old narrative of fuck the police. Stop it.
Right. That's not the narrative to have.
Stop that. Don't do that narrative. What you have is fuck the racist police. Call a thing a thing, as Iyanla would tell you. It's fuck the racist cops. They are sneaking in and fooling the recruiting officer. They are sneaking into academies. There are white supremacists that are recruiting them to go apply to get into that uniform so that they can do harm. We see you. We know you're doing it. It has even been said by many officials that they know that is what you guys are doing. And this is the year, if COVID don't take you, we gonna make sure that you guys. Here's the thing. If I can offer this, let me share with you one of the biggest reasons that In Black and White came to existence. Okay.
I personally had gotten tired of listening to black people talk about racism, fight racism, speak out against racism, and what I wanted to do, and why I'm grateful for my buddy Ethan my co-host Ethan to join in this conversation.
Ethan, coming on the show, I hope.
Yes, he's excited about that when he saw your comment. What I want is to see white America get as outraged as blacks are. Very similar in this situation. I want to see the police officers, those good police officers, damn that code blue brotherhood, all right? Expose the racist police officers or the police officers who aren't abiding by normal human guidelines. This man was there unconscious, damn near dead, in the middle of the street. And y'all just sat there and let him keep his knee on this man's neck because you want to keep a crowd back. This is for the other officer who happened to be Asian. I can't remember his name. You thought it would be, that's okay for you? That's not acceptable. Police officers need to call police officers out. White people need to call white people out because this behavior is not going to change if the people who are the oppressed continue on.
You have the power with your white voice and your white face. You have more power often than that we do to have this argument and to make actual change take place. So yes, I agree with that also, and I do believe that officers that are up to no good need to go beyond being fired, Minneapolis. So I know you're trying, Minneapolis, to really send a message to say we acted immediately, but we need charges.
Yes,
we need charges.
Yes, we do.
I felt like I was just having this conversation last week, but with Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. But look,
just had this conversation. Just had this conversation with Ahmaud Arbery. Like, literally. Which, by the way, did you see that there?
Black America has PTSD.
That's what it is.
Our reparations. We need our monthly checks. We have
traumatized. PTSD. Yes. I think also, I don't know if you saw that the Department of Justice, I think the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is now investigating criminal investigation for the two DAs who covered the Ahmaud Arbery murder up, as well as police officers.
That's progress, and that's why we have to make a loud statement when something like that is on the rise. It's you have to do this. It's like imagine if heroin was just let loose and everybody was getting their hands on it, even babies. You would immediately go crazy trying to do something about heroin.
They sure did
incidents. Well, they kind of
They did when the opioid crisis started hitting white America. They sure did.
As soon as Karen got high,
baby, listen, they jumped up on that. It's the same thing with HIV. As soon as HIV,
been getting high for years, baby. But when Karen
right,
got
that was a criminal offense when Pookie was getting hired. But now that Karen's been getting it, and Billy has now that they're having problems. Oh, but there's rehab that's needed. Same thing with HIV. As soon as HIV started exploding in the white community, they found ways to cure, minimize it. I should say, not cure it, but they found treatment for it.
Rick, I told you about coming on here, so scoot your face over so you don't be damn. Go ahead and get out the camera because I'm gonna say Dr. Sebi cured AIDS. Okay, he took care of that. Y'all don't want to tell these things proven. He took care of that. Y'all don't want to give him credit because you want us to continue to, our culture to continue to be impacted by it. But it's a cure out there.
Or medicated. Or medicated.
I tell
you, because there's big money. There's big money. I mean, there's huge money in big pharma.
Medication.
Yeah. So they don't want. It's just like with cancer. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Cuba has a cure for cancer, and they got it because everyone in Cuba smokes cigars. So they had to protect their people. They found a cure for cancer, and America won't take it or approve it because.
And let me tell you, somebody, you may be a person in the audience right now, and you may be having that question. What is America's issue with Cuba all the time? Look, baby, I'm gonna tell you guys one thing, and it goes back to Republicans that cut their teeth years ago. This issue with Cuba, baby, is Assata Shakur. If you don't know the story, we don't have the time left to tell it to you. That is the only reason why they have an issue with Cuba, love. Look up Assata Shakur. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Don't they? I know.
Cuba, I'm on my way. Y'all got the cure?
Right.
I'm on my way. It's in my family. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm on my way.
I got my Spanish down just enough to be able to communicate. Let me get on down to Havana. Let me make it on down there.
Anyway, so.
I don't know how they feel about the LGBTQ community, but I promise we'll be all right. We will be all right down in Cuba.
I'm telling you, because it's just silly how those little things like that carry a hatred in a nation for so long. It's ignorant as black skin being a problem. You found out, your grandmother told you that if you touch black skin, that it was going to rub off on you and that it was dirty. And then you slept with Daryl and you found out that it don't rub off on you and you had to take a bath and that was the reason why you were dirty. So all the things that you've been told.
Well done.
All the things you've been told over the years have been proven that it's not true. You fell in love with Michael Jordan. You fell in love with Kobe Bryant. May he rest in peace. You found out that we weren't that bad. You found out we weren't that bad. So come on, let this end. Let this end.
Exactly.
Serena Williams is, you guys' only problem with Serena is her skin color. Only.
Do people have a problem with Serena?
They do. Do you know they do?
No.
And she's a beast.
No. And yes, she's a beast.
Who could not like Serena?
A French husband and a beautiful daughter. I think she has a daughter.
Her husband owns Reddit, which is the platform that the white supremacists use to go on to type racial hatred. Did you know Reddit that you love so much is Serena's husband?
There's so much to unpack there. So I didn't know that Serena's husband owned Reddit. Didn't know that. Definitely didn't know that the racists were using Reddit.
Oh,
but I'm sure they're using all the platforms.
I dare you to go to Reddit.com and just take a peek, and don't have an account. Just take a peek, and you'll be like, I deleted my account. I'm sorry, Serena. I know that pays y'all bills. I deleted my account the first day.
Well, is that where you sent me a post about or article about Doja Cat? Is that where she was involved in those?
She may have been on Reddit because Reddit has a lot of racial hate chat. It just gets in my way when I'm trying to navigate the app, and I just left. So no, Live Me, that's the place to be. That's where we are. Set it off, fam. Thank you for coming by. But I'm telling you, no, that is not okay. But Doja Cat, I'm so glad you brought that up. Look here. Black America forgiving Doja Cat. No. You guys, it happened that morning. You forgave her that afternoon. Stop it. Sweeties, no. Call her out. Call the thing a thing. Make her answer to it the way you're making Joe Biden answer to it. Don't do that. Don't fall into forgive her that quick. Don't do that. This woman wrote a whole song, and the anthem of the song is a white supremacist phrase. Didn't do
nothing.
Didn't do nothing. And they used that as against us. And so she wrote a whole song she was a racist when she came out, you guys. You just didn't call her out on it. You didn't need to see her chat.
Well, so here's the thing. I have to be quite honest with you. When you sent it to me, like, I had to do some research because I really had my Mariah Carey face on. Like, I don't know her.
I was doing the same thing. I do not. What did Kiki say? I do not know that woman.
I don't. Who is a Doja Cat? Like, let me start. Who is a Doja Cat?
What's
okay.
a Doja
But I saw she had some #1, song on a Billboard or something like that. And let's be honest, that's not based on record sales anymore, right? There's so much forgery behind what goes into how you're ranked on the Billboard charts now, because you got downloads, you got streams. It's not as authentic as record sales like it used to be back in the day. They need to come up with a better system for that. Having said that, I still don't know who she is. I had no idea. So I have to do some research.
All I can say is when I went to it and you told me her platinum song didn't do nothing, I didn't need anyone to tell me anything else.
Right.
It's just like my issues with Mammy on Gone with the Wind. If you're trying to figure out where I'm at with that, people, do your research. Never seen Gone with the Wind? Go watch the movie and say, oh, I get what people doesn't like.
I understand. Yep.
I've read
the
book, actually. I used to read the book over and over when I was an unaware young child, and I would read Gone with the Wind over and over because I love Scarlett O'Hara. And I would read it over and over, and then I finally realized nobody else was black except for Mammy.
Mammy, that was it. Yep. Exactly. I haven't listened to any of her music, but I think that you brought up a very great point, and I think I might have to share that on my social media. If y'all are gonna hold Joe Biden accountable for his remarks, then what are we doing with Doja Cat over here? What are we doing with her?
Stop picking and choosing. Stop picking based on popularity. I'm not a fan of popularity, as many people notice that I don't have a lot of friends. I do. My microphone, she's my baby. That's my bestie. So I don't have a lot of friends because I will call a thing, and it makes people upset. Here's a personal thing. I was dealing, we have like about 4 minutes left. I was dealing with something that happened in my family, and people are under the assumption that when you're family, that you get to just get away with saying things. So I called and said, that's not okay to say. We're family. It's still not okay to say. Well, this and that, it's family. I don't care. It's not. You got to start unapologetically letting people know, don't treat me that way.
Yep.
Don't treat me that way.
And it goes right along with the same thing that should happen in white households, right? White America should be doing the same thing. And luckily, I've had some people on our show in Black and White that have been able to share some of that experience. But we got to do it too, as well as black people, right? But I think in order for racist behavior to change, as my soror, Kendra Pennington, and guest on our show last week said, it's not enough to be non-racist. It's not enough to be non-racist. Now we need to be anti-racist. And that's what we need to be holding people accountable to.
We have to demand what you said, and Cruz said as well this week, legislation.
I need some legislation. Listen, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I'm going to run for somebody's office, and I'll let you know so you can get some votes. Because, listen.
I'm in Colorado. Can I vote for him in Chi-Town? I'm voting.
Maybe the mail-in ballots would be, fraud, as our current administration has indicated. But
oh my God,
because something's got to change.
I want you guys to know where to follow Rick again. So make sure that you tell them that, and we are going to shout out the Set It Out Kingdom. You guys came in and we're just
set it off.
You brought us on. Thank you so much for thinking of us and thinking that we have something relevant to bring to the table. So we appreciate it so much. And we want you guys to know, here on Live Me, how can they find you?
So here on Live Me, you can find me at Rick L and the number 2. I made it easy. I just did the number 2. I didn't even do Roman numerals. Okay.
I saw you do it, but I let it alone.
You're more than welcome to follow me on any of my social media platforms. Rick L2, again, the number 2 on Instagram, as well as Rick Lockhart, and there's the Roman numeral 2 on Facebook. We have Colorful Circle that you can locate, as well as In Black and White on our YouTube channel. I think I was going to try to post that here in the chat, but I'll get to do that, I guess, at a later time. But we're on YouTube. Just search for YFNA News and find any of the shows that we've had in the past. Again, Mz Dee-Va, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to the SIO crew.
I want to see you guys, are you able to come in? And if anybody's able to come in, let's see if anybody wants to join.
Okay.
I think that's a thing. I'm so dude. I'm always trying to play it off, and I'm like, that might not even be a thing on here.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I am still trying to figure it out too as well. But if people do want to come on in, come on in.
Come by and personally say hello to Rick. I opened it up so that you can do that. So we'll leave that open for a few minutes and chit chat about the casual things in life. What did you and Al do for Memorial Day weekend?
So we actually went to my mother's and my aunt's because it was also her birthday last week. So I'll caveat that to say that we've all had our exposure and experience with COVID-19 and have survived. So we, being in that small group of us, just my aunt, my mother, Al, and myself, we were able to be in a safe space there. So we barbecued a little bit, hung out with them for the day, celebrated her birthday, celebrated the Memorial Day on Sunday. And then yesterday we just kind of cooled it because he had to be back to work today. And I had to be back on the job hunt. So if anybody out there know of anyone hiring, let me know because I am in between jobs as this pandemic continues on.
I saw some online. A friend of mine sent me some online jobs, you guys. I think it was like 30 on the list. So I'll get that. I'll shoot that list out. I'll hit her up and ask her to give me that list again. Online is so safe. And there's a lot of need for it. So they have a big need right now for customer service, CSRs for contact tracing. So I saw that was available in Florida. So the COVID-19 pandemic has a lot of us doing things that maybe we wouldn't have done that job. I'm an admin, so I'm like,
I have no problem.
No one to take their coffee. I'll just randomly go make coffee just to see, does my boss need coffee? There's something to do here. It's hard for admins to adjust. You don't know what we're going through.
I 100% have. I will take just about anything at this point because I'm on hold until the restaurant that I worked for, that I was a manager at. I accepted the position as a manager. Opens back up, but I have no problems with any of the positions. I've done customer service for a long time.
I'm pretty laid back. I think that everywhere I go, every journey I get on, every path I cross is for a reason. So
until In Black and White starts making us some money, that's
it's coming.
too.
It's coming.
It's right.
You guys
Exactly.
go follow because sometimes it's about subscribers and turn on the notification bell so that you can catch it and view. So go follow them because YouTube, that you know how that thing goes. Dallas, thank you so much. Dallas came by again. Fox, Dallas, do you guys want to jump in and someone tell me, is that even a thing? Can someone jump in the conversation right now? If anybody wants to test it out for me.
I've also posted the link to our YouTube channel. If anyone's curious and wants to check it out, just go ahead and click there and subscribe. That's for our YFNA News.
Yes.
And you can find, we have 2 shows as of now. That's our show In Black and White, as well as 13%. That'll be coming on tonight, later on this evening, on YFNA News on YouTube, where they tackle the issues of Black America, as we are the 13%. That's Richard Graves, His Imperial Majesty Richard Graves, as well as Cynthia McDonald. Every other Wednesday, check them out. They'll be broadcasting live.
I love that whole team of yours. Everybody that you have, the energy, everything is real. It's so real. It's so real. You guys remind me. Here in Denver, we have a show that comes on called the Daily Blast Live. Have you seen that?
I have not. No.
Okay, you got to go. It comes on regular TV, maybe NBC, CBS, but it's called the Daily Blast Live, and it's out in Denver, and they are so real. They keep it so real. You got to love Erica. If you go on Twitter, follow Erica Daily Blast Live, and say, Mz Dee-Va is all for promoting you, because when I got to Denver, they have been my entertainment.
Sure.
They talk the issues directly, and that's all their platform does, and they come on every day. You can find them on Facebook. It's just good stuff to watch, and that's what you guys reminded me of. You need a show. You guys need to be on the CW or somewhere. You need a platform.
Yeah.
We need to see stuff like that. We can't have the news sugarcoating and pushing aside and not really being real with the issues. We need people to come on and just say, call the thing a thing, as Missy Young would say. Just get out there and just talk about it.
Well,
So
hopefully
you
following
guys-
that link will give people the exposure to click subscribe as well as the alarm button there and get notifications for when we come on every Monday night at 6:30 Central Daylight Time. Ethan and myself, we talk about those issues in black and white, all of the issues that we need to cover, whether it be
Black and
race or
White is
just
so
humanitarian.
good. It's such a good show. You guys, you're gonna love it. It's a good show. Ethan is so real.
He is. He is. He's that white guy that's just like, I need to do better. I need to figure out, and I want to be on this show and let's talk about it. And I'm that black guy that's like, I have all these white friends that I want to hold accountable. I want them to be as well as outraged as I am. So we make a perfect team. We make a great team,
Really do.
and we've known each other for a long time.
I see, like I said, you guys remind me of a lot of the shows that I see that have the freedom to really get out there and speak it. So, Rick, I've taken up so much of your time. I know that you're a father. I like that. I call my son a dog daddy, but I like that also. You're a father.
Dog dad, further, whatever you want to call us. We have 2 puppies. They're finally going to get groomed tomorrow. I'm so excited about that because it's been months since they've been able to go. Shout out to my best friend in Forest Park here in Chicago for taking that on for us. But they're finally able to get into the groomer, so they're going to look cute puppyish after they leave the grooming tomorrow. But listen, Mz Dee-Va,
Let me
as
tell
always.
you this, Rick, before you go. I have a request.
Yeah.
This is your thank you to me. So, through social media, I travel for $0, and it's so frugal. It's so cheap, you guys. I'm working on it. But can you do this for me? Do you have any bean pictures?
Pictures of the bean? I don't yet, but I can get some for you.
Go down there, you guys, and take a picture. Take your babies with you. I want to see the bean. I may never make it because I don't know if I'm gonna fly.
Oh, girl, listen, here's the thing. No, it's not that you won't be able to fly. Uncle LL has the playpen, as we call it here in the downtown area, on lock. So you might not see the bean this year as long as COVID-19 is running amok. But I will take some pictures and send it to you. Yeah, I told you, Uncle LL is not playing, all right?
Wow.
The governor of the...
I've never seen images of the bean with no one there. Oh, wow.
It's all shut down. Like, you can't do anything in that area. Lakefront, parks, any of that. It's all shut down. But I'll get you some pictures because I'm cool like that. But at the end of the day...
Please. I'll just be like, I didn't really go, but I kind of went because I know him.
Yeah. Exactly. I got you. I'll hook you up.
Thanks,
100%.
Rick. Thank you so much for coming by. The link is in there, you guys. He gave you the link to follow. Rick, when you go broadcast live, let us know in the kingdom and set it off.
Yeah.
We're going to come and check you out. If you want to go in there and play right now, we can come back. Or if you go on this afternoon, let us know. We'll support you.
Will do. Set it off, Kingdom. Shout out to you all. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, Ms. Dee-Va. It's always a pleasure being on your show.
Always.
Looking forward to coming back at some point, though. But thank you.
You guys say goodbye, and thank you so much for coming by. We appreciate you guys. I'm sorry that the images weren't exactly the way that you probably prefer it to be. You'll see that later. You'll be like, what was happening on Periscope? So it was hard. I was trying to figure. I have all these devices, and my sugar high, he's an essential worker. So when he's not able to come set up what I need, it's hilarious to review later.
Well, tell him we appreciate all his hard work and his sacrifice of being on the front line as an essential worker. Yeah. Now, will this be on the podcast too? How do I find out where
It'll
to
be
check
on
it out
the
on the podcast?
podcast in 1 hour because we went for about an hour and 7, so it's got to record for an hour. So maybe look for it about 2 hours, and it'll be up and available on Spotify. It will be available on iHeartRadio. It's going to be available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Luminary, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast at Mz Dee-Va's there. So please share. I appreciate it.
I will share that as well. Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, Ms. Dee-Va. Shout out to the Set It Off Kingdom.
See you. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Set It Off. Thank you so much for coming by. We can't tell you enough. We're going to go in the group and let you know how much we appreciated you and the gifts. And Fox, thank you so much for believing in us. Like, we can't say it enough.
Thanks, Ms. Fox. Absolutely.
Thank you for believing in us. All right.
Have a good one.
We enjoyed that conversation. Thank you so much for coming. Please continue to follow the Ask Diva podcast. I bring you hot topics. Sometimes we have interviews like that. They are exclusive when it happens. We are always talking relationship talk, 24 hours of relationship talk, 7 days a week, available on the Ask Diva podcast. We have 260 more topics. Can you believe that? We haven't even covered enough in 10 years. We still have more to bring. So there is always something going on and a lot of topics to cover in the world of relationships. So please, please, please share. Tell your friend to tell another friend to tune into the Ask Diva podcast. Follow. On Spotify, create your Ask Diva podcast playlist. Please, you could listen all day. And then if you are over on YouTube, follow, turn on the notifications, subscribe. That way you get those shows right when they are on. Anywhere that you are listening to the podcast, we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Spreaker, for making it happen. And you guys have a wonderful day.